Hi, and welcome back to Chapter 11. And we're going to look at our second objective here, which is taking a look at these unique goods, the public goods and common resources. And remember, public goods are non-excludable and non-rival, whereas common goods are non-excludable but rival. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen with you. This is a pretty short one. But helps if I start the slideshow. Okay, here we go. So in looking at this again, we want to look at two concepts. One are these public goods again, and to talk about a problem that exists in public goods, which is the free rider problem. Okay, so remember our public goods are non-excludable and non-rival. So we can't prevent someone from using it. And moreover, somebody might use it who doesn't actually pay for it. And that goes back to my Silver Beach example. Remember, when I was young, long time ago, right? Silver Beach was free, okay? And because it was free, anyone could use it. And what would happen is a lot of people would come from other areas and would use the resource, in this case, the beach. And I suppose that worked for a while until more and more people came. As more and more people came, the beach became crowded. Okay? The beach became polluted in terms of trash and things laying around and so on. It became worse. Okay? So what happens is this idea of a free rider is anybody that uses it but doesn't pay for it. So if you look at Silver Beach today, if you look at the beach today, what has to happen? You have to pay a fee for entry. Okay. Now that fee helps get rid of some of the issues that surround this public good, the crowding, perhaps, now that you have, people have to have a willingness to pay for it in order to enjoy it. Some of the fee for entry might be encumbered for trash pickup and the betterment of that particular resource. So again, when we look at free rider problems, here's some additional ones, and I'll tell you what, I've been a free rider. Have you ever used Wi-Fi access to a restaurant, but you didn't purchase anything? Okay. Now, think about the excludability feature. Can they exclude you from using it? No. McDonald's used to require you to have a receipt and enter a little code to use their Wi-Fi. Now we kind of think of that as it's a public good. So businesses should just let us have Wi-Fi. However, what happens is because it's non-excludable, if everyone uses it, if we all go to McDonald's at the same time to use their Wi-Fi, then it becomes a rival because the Wi-Fi is going to slow down and we will not have as great a speed for all of us. So that's another good example of this idea of a free rider problem. Oh, let me erase my slide. Okay. Okay, so how do you solve this free rider problem? The government can decide to provide it. And governments will provide a good if the total benefit exceeds the cost. And this is sometimes really difficult. We're going to look at this in objective 4, I think. What is the benefit to people? What is that? You know, how do you quantify that? And the costs, remember, economic costs. What are the opportunity costs? And those are many times implicit. So this sounds easy, that we total up all the benefits of it and we total up all the costs of it, and then we'll provide it as long as the benefit of doing that is greater than the cost. Now, for example, it might be more difficult for McDonald's to lock down their Wi-Fi, and so they're going to provide this benefit to consumers and non-consumers alike. And what's the cost of doing that? Probably minimal to them, so they make it up in the goodwill idea. Okay, let me erase all that. Okay. Now, in terms of other things that we do, this would be the idea of having for the parks an admission fee. It would be the idea of having a fee attached to the public good, right? Here's some really important public goods. Probably the purest of all public goods is national defense. That's probably the best one. Here we have basic research. This is why the government funds like the NIH, right? You know, because we're interested in the research component, because that can lead to the betterment of society. Okay. Other important public goods, fighting poverty. And I think today, I think you could combine all three together today and look at Corona, right? The basic research perhaps that we haven't been funding, that we should have been funding. We're seeing that Corona hits the higher poverty areas than it does others. And it is a matter of national defense when we look at that. Okay, well, that kind of sums it up. Speaking of beaches, there you go. Hope it will be sunny for you and get out there and enjoy the sunshine. And I'll see you in the next objective. I think what I do is for Tragedy of the Commons, I think I give you just a video about Tragedy of the Commons. I think it's a very good illustrated video, and Tragedy of the Commons has to look at common resources. And so again, what are common resources? We're going to look at that, and then I have a video for you. And the last objective is cost benefit, and it's really done very well on the YouTube video. These are ones that I would have showed you if you were in class anyway. Thanks for your time, attention, and I'll see you next time.